The current situation of a 30-year-old woman suddenly felt like picking up my phone stand and recording a little ramble. Maybe. It started with needing to get my car serviced today. I tried to book an appointment in advance, but I didn't do it early enough, so I couldn't get a slot. Then I tried to make plans to eat with friends, but couldn't manage to meet even one. So I thought, I'll just go buy a drink. After getting a drink, I started craving sushi. Now I'm driving to another place to eat sushi. Honestly, it feels pretty good. It's just that, not being able to meet up with friends is kind of troublesome. Let me update you, all this is what a weekend looks like for a 30-year-old woman. I also want to see what kind of suggestions everyone might have. Honestly, I don't even know what being 30 is supposed to look like, but what I can tell you is what I'm like right now. I'm 25 years old, and I really want to get married, but I don't have the money to do it. My boyfriend and I have been together for almost 4 years. Friends around us who started dating later than we did already got their marriage certificates within a couple of months, but my boyfriend and I are stuck because of money. That's not even what hurts me the most. What really hurt was when my uncle said to my boyfriend right in front of me, "Don't buy a house when you get married, just rent. If you buy a house, you'll be stuck paying a mortgage for decades, owing the bank thousands every month." It was practical advice, but I don't know why it felt like something suddenly stabbed me inside. Then my parents also said, if marriage becomes too stressful, we don't even have to have kids. Just the two of us, living an easier life. Standing there, I suddenly understood everything. All these suggestions that are for my own good, don't buy a house, don't take on debt, don't have kids, are all centered around one unavoidable fact. My boyfriend's family doesn't have money. Because of that, our marriage has to start with compromises. I used to think marriage meant moving towards something better, but now it feels like it might just be about avoiding something worse, giving up the hope of something better in advance. My mom used to tell me not to date someone too poor, or I'd suffer. I always thought that was shallow and looked down on that idea, but now reality is forcing me to understand it little by little. My boyfriend is a good person. He's steady, treats me very well, takes responsibility, and can handle my emotions. But I've realized that these qualities feel so light in front of money, and at the same time, they feel very heavy. Honestly, I'm afraid to think about the future. I'm not afraid of renting. I'm afraid that 3 to 5 years from now, we'll still be struggling just to pay rent, while housing prices rise so much that what we didn't buy before becomes completely unaffordable. I'm not afraid of not having children. I'm afraid that one day I might want them, but won't even have the confidence to try. I'm 25 now, at the age of thinking about marriage, but I don't have answers. All I have are a bunch of for your own good suggestions from others, choices that settle for less on my behalf. I'm standing here, with 4 years of love behind me, and a reality ahead where no matter what I choose, it feels like something is missing. I still haven't figured it out. Not at all. I'm 35 this year. I've decided not to get married or have children. I want to restart my life and go do the things I truly want. You might think I was hurt by some man, so I've become pessimistic about marriage, but that's not it. It's not that I'm pessimistic about marriage, it's that I only realized in my 30s that a woman's happiness has nothing to do with marriage. Sometimes I feel regret. Why didn't I understand this earlier? If I had, I wouldn't have spent 14 years stuck with my ex-boyfriend. If I had realized this in my 20s, I'd probably be living a great life now. Of course, I'm not telling everyone not to get married or to stay child-free. This is just my personal choice. But I do want to say something to girls. When you enter a relationship, never go in with a mindset of emotional dependence. What does that mean? It means expecting the other person to give you a sense of security, expecting them to be your safety net. You've just started dating, yet you already feel like you belong to him for life. You fixate on him, what he's thinking, what he's doing. You pour all your energy, time, and attention into him, revolving your entire life around him. Then your mindset becomes unbalanced. You start overthinking and draining yourself. When you see his flaws, you can't bring yourself to filter or leave. That was me back then. A painful, hard-learned lesson. In a healthy relationship, a woman needs boundaries, standards, and a sense of structure. You can't lose yourself just because the other person has good conditions or high education. You can't make your whole life revolve around them, sacrificing your future, studies, social life, and time, putting all your bets on one person. That kind of life becomes very narrow. Your ability to handle risk becomes weak. Your finances, emotions, even your motivation to live end up being controlled by someone else. I used to naively think that happiness meant finding a good man and getting married. But now, in my 30s, I no longer think that way. I've realized there are so many things that can make me happy. I love being free traveling whenever I want. I love driving to the seaside, sitting on a small chair, watching the sunset. That kind of freedom is something a man can't give me. I enjoy challenging myself, losing weight, learning English, working hard in my career. With every effort, I see real growth and tangible results. These are things marriage can't give me. I love going to different places, seeing different landscapes and cultures. My world has become so big now. I can't imagine spending the rest of my life in a small home, facing the same person every day. To me, that's not happiness, that feels like a kind of punishment. So if you feel trapped in a relationship, still overthinking and in pain, please find yourself again. Reclaim your sense of self. Look at the world. Maybe happiness has many different forms. My husband and I both married late for the first time. We met through matchmaking and got married after just 2 months. I was 35, and he was 38. He gave me a bride price of 288,000 yuan, and we went together to buy the gold jewelry as a woman in her 30s who wanted to get married. I've felt anxious and lost before. As someone who's been through it, I want to have an honest talk with the girls. And let me emphasize again, guys, please scroll away. This is a girls-only talk. I was born in 1990, have a PhD, and have worked as a flight attendant and a university lecturer. Now I run my own business. My husband has a bachelor's degree. He has 4 older sisters, and his parents are illiterate farmers. So many people say I married down, that I'll regret it later. Some even say I compromised because I'm older. Today, I want to be completely honest about whether I regret it, and how I chose my husband. First of all, I didn't compromise because of my age. On the contrary, it's because I've reached this age that I understand myself better and can choose more precisely. To put it simply, my flash marriage was about cutting out meaningless relationships and going straight to what really matters. Let me make one thing clear. Character is the first and most important standard. No matter how good everything else is, if the character is bad, it's an immediate no. I think matchmaking is really about judging a person's character. If someone has poor character, they can't hide it. After confirming character, my priorities became clear. Emotional stability comes first, then financial foundation, then appearance. This isn't lowering standards, it's seeing life clearly. That handsome, rich, perfect partner probably doesn't exist. Think about it. When we were in our 20s, with the widest dating options, we didn't meet such a perfect person. Why would they suddenly appear in our 30s? That kind of partner mostly exists only in imagination. It's not worth wasting time chasing. Once I set my standards, I started taking real action to get to know people. The day after we met online, I suggested going to his home. He hesitated at first, so I told him directly, if it's inconvenient, I'll just go back to my hometown. He immediately agreed. What I wanted to see was his family background, whether he was hiding anything, what kind of family values they had, and what his character was like. This is actually one advantage of matchmaking. You don't have to waste time slowly testing things after visiting his home. I felt at ease. My in-laws may be uneducated, but they are reasonable, respectful, honest, and kind. Their relationship is loving and harmonious. That kind of genuine kindness and sense of boundaries can't be faked. However, there was a small issue. I found out he had lied about his age. He told me he was born in 1990, but I discovered he was actually born in 1987. Later, he admitted it was because he was afraid I would reject him. He felt he looked ordinary, came from a rural background, and worried I'd mind that he was older. I chose to forgive him because I could see he truly liked me. After understanding his character and family, we had to address a sensitive topic, the bride price. Personally, I do value it, but that doesn't mean I'm materialistic. I can choose not to ask for it, but you can't be unwilling to give it. Have you noticed that when men talk about bride price, they often say women are materialistic? But we all know that constantly being understanding and compromising doesn't necessarily earn respect. I've seen many women who married without any bride price, only to be treated poorly later. The bride price isn't about the amount, it's about attitude, sincerity, and respect. My husband's family isn't wealthy, but neither he nor his family are calculating. They didn't think I should settle just because it was a quick marriage, nor did they think I should endure hardships just because I was reasonable. That sincerity and fairness were enough to move me. But what truly made me confident in marrying him quickly were 2 small incidences, especially the second one. The first was when we visited his parents and passed by a supermarket. We were buying things for his parents, but once inside, he kept asking whether my parents or I needed anything. It wasn't polite talk, he genuinely cared about me and my family. That sincerity felt incredibly valuable and made me feel respected. That's when I started to develop feelings for him. The second incident removed all my doubts. My mother suddenly got into a traffic accident, broke a bone, and was hospitalized. It was my first time dealing with something like that, and I was completely overwhelmed. As soon as he found out, he didn't just offer empty comfort. He immediately transferred tens of thousands of yuan to me in case I needed money urgently. Then he helped me organize everything about the accident remotely to calm me down. After that, he bought the earliest ticket and traveled from Beijing to my hometown. At the hospital, he took care of everything, running around, bringing meals, accompanying my mother for checkups. In that moment, I felt at peace. I saw that he was responsible and dependable. For women over 30, isn't this what we want in marriage? Someone who doesn't run away when problems arise. Someone who takes responsibility. Someone who truly cares about us and our families. People often ask me if I regret my quick marriage. I can say with complete certainty, I have no regrets. As for the future, why exhaust ourselves worrying about the unknown? And as for the idea that arranged marriages lack emotional foundation, I don't agree. Our relationship started with his love at first sight and my wholehearted response. That's a real emotional beginning. Our marriage is a choice made by two mature adults to support each other, rely on each other, and accompany each other through life. My quick marriage wasn't blind. What I reduced was wasted time and emotional cost. To all the women like me, being older isn't a disadvantage. It helps us understand ourselves better and make clearer choices. Judge bride price by attitude. Judge family by responsibility. There's no single standard for happiness. What suits you is what's best. Honestly, now that I'm in my early 40s, I've finally figured it out. I can accept the fact that I might not have children. But do you know what I went through to get here? For the option of having children, I put in so much effort, time, and energy. Around the age of 35, I started going on a crazy number of blind dates, trying to find a husband. But no matter how much I searched, I couldn't find the right person. So when I was about 38, I spent a whole year along with a lot of money and effort going to the US to freeze my eggs. I went there twice. Do you know how much I suffered? I took around 56 injections, at least 56. I endured jet lag and all kinds of difficulties to get there. And I'm actually very afraid of flying, you know. But every trip was over 10 hours, one way about 30 hours round trip. It wasn't easy at all. I even had to undergo surgery, all alone, lying on the operating table, going under anesthesia. By the second time, during the second egg freezing procedure, the anesthesia had already started to affect me mentally. For about 7 or 8 months straight, I couldn't sleep properly. I would often lie awake in the middle of the night. Maybe it was because of the repeated anesthesia. After about 6 months, I went back for a second round, and honestly, it completely broke me. It took me nearly a year just to recover my nervous system a little. So for me, the price I paid for the possibility of having a child was very high. After finishing the egg freezing in 2023, I kept trying to find a husband, because I still wanted to have a child myself. But again, I couldn't find anyone. After 2 or 3 more years, to be honest, I've finally come to terms with it. But since I still haven't found a husband, I also worry about the dozen or so eggs I froze in the US if I do meet someone a few years later. He'll be older by then, and combining his sperm with my eggs might result in embryos that aren't very viable. So now I'm struggling with whether I should go back to the US and create embryos in advance. That way, no matter who I end up with in the future, if I still want a child, I'll have an extra layer of security. From then until now, it's been about 4 or 5 years. Freezing eggs, going on hundreds of blind dates, spending so much money, dealing with insomnia. For the sake of having a child, I've poured years of my life into this. You know, during these past few years, I didn't focus on my work, and I didn't really enjoy life either. All my energy and attention were consumed by this one thing, having a child. So don't be fooled by how carefree I sound now, saying I can live without children and let go of it. The truth is, it's because I tried so hard, thought so much, and finally understood so much. At this point, I don't really have a choice. I've reached a stage where I have to make a decision. I have to let it go. And letting go is the only way to find peace. There's no other option.